Hello everyone, my name is Cortex and today we're going to be talking about the two new events that were just added today that are going to save a lot of players, a lot of materials from old mistakes. So let's get right into it. So first of all, let's get into the Smelt and Meld event, which you can choose any piece of equipment and you can dismantle it for full material refund. Now you can see there's a time limit here, which is the time of the event, and you can also see there's a limit of 1. So you can do this to one equipment and that's it. Now you can also see that dismantling legendary equipment will consume gems. Each piece of legendary material returned costs 120 gems. So you can see, for example, here on my tier 5 crit iconic coin, you can dismantle this and get, how many is that, like, nearly 500 legendary materials, which is a lot of materials, but it does come at a gem cost of 66,600 gems. And that is based on obviously how many materials there are, so this is that many materials times 120. Now, if we go on over to the regular dismantle feature that's already in the game, because as you know, they updated it to where if you dismantle a crit piece of gear, you get more materials back. But to clarify, you still don't get all of the materials back, because let me show you guys the difference. So over here we go to dismantle and we see the same coin here. Here we're only getting 82 of each, whereas we're getting 185 of each here. So that's what, like 309 extra legendary materials from dismantling it this way versus dismantling it the regular way. So this is a big deal for anyone that has any sort of daggers. Mora's Web is a great candidate. Skola's Lucky Coin that I have is a great candidate. Or any gear that you made that you no longer want. It's a really great use. It does come at a gem cost that is quite expensive. Now for cheaper pieces, I think it is more reasonable. Like, for example, if I were to want to dismantle this, these pants here, or this one is 7,200 gems. Or if I just wanted to dismantle any old ring, it would be a lot cheaper, right? It's still expensive, but it is definitely worth it if you have something that you want to get rid of. So who this event is for is whether you're like me and you have a Skola's Lucky Coin, or if you have a dagger or a web or any sort of old outdated gear, this event is for you. If you don't have that and you're happy with all the gear pieces that you have, then it's a fine skip. You don't need to do it. You can save your gems and you can skip. Next up, let's get into the other events. So here we have the special talent conversion, and this event is a little more puzzling to me due to a few different things I noticed when checking this out. For example, and I'll show you guys right off the bat, this special talent crit cavalry horn, that's iconic level 3, cost 50,200 gems to convert. Now this infantry horn, that's also iconic level 3 and crits, costs 31,350 gems. You can see the difference in price is nearly double. Now, the only explanation and sort of reasonable conclusion I can come to with this is that the cost of this is based on how much you spent to get the equipment to the point that it is now, which, if you ask me, doesn't make much sense, because these two, technically speaking, are identical pieces of gear, right? They're both level 3, they're both crits, but the cost is nearly double, which I don't really agree with, but that's the way it is. And also, you can see this ring here is 31,000. Right, so, and also, let me show you guys, because you see this one on my cavalry is 50,000, this one on my infantry is 31,000. And now if we go over to the Smelt and Meld, we can also see that this infantry one gives me this many materials back, and the cavalry one gives me this many materials back. So clearly I spent a lot more materials on special talenting this cavalry horn compared to this infantry horn. So then also that will be more expensive in the special talent conversion, which is something to keep in mind. Now, who is this event useful for? I think this will apply to more players than the dismantle. I think the dismantle will apply to some that still have daggers, drums, or sorry, not drums. Drums are very good. Don't misunderstand. Daggers, webs, etc., coins that don't want them anymore. There will be a few players that will benefit from the dismantle event, but I think this might benefit more players. And I think the primary use of this could be an archer horn, for example. Because if you're running one archer march and you have an archer crit horn, that's not really that good, because QSH does not benefit from the horn. So if you have an archer crit horn, if you have, like I do, a leadership crit accessory, like this ring I have here, these are great candidates for this sort of a swap. So if you have something crit that you want on another troop type, or that you simply, like if you have leadership crit stuff, if you have a crit archer horn, if you have something that you want to convert, it could even be a horn that you have for, I don't know, for infantry, but you want to put it on cavalry for whatever reason. Maybe you think it's gonna have more benefit on a combo march, or if you have drums on an archer or on a leadership, or etc, right? You can get some very good use out of this event. And this also lets you skip ahead quite a bit, right? Like for example, let's say I want this leadership ring to become an archer ring, and I have this other archer ring at level 2. Now all of a sudden I have a level 5 archer ring immediately, rather than having to wait until I get all the blueprints to get this ring to tier 5, which is a huge cut in time and in cost. And I can keep this ring for field or whatever purposes, right? And then I could have a tier 5 archer ring that I can instantly use to rally garrison and whatever else. So overall, what do I think of the two events? I think they are expensive, I will say, and the gem cost is very high. I don't think it really makes sense to have a differing gem cost for same equipment pieces on the special talent conversion when they're the same piece, because you were not getting any materials back here, right? So I don't see the reason why this should be a cost difference. And also, I think that this overall is a great use for people to revive some dead gear if you have something crit for the wrong troop type, or if you have some equipment that you no longer need. It's a great way to turn that back into all the materials you once invested into it. Now, if we head over to the info page here, it says you can select one piece of legendary equipment to dismantle during each event period. Now, I might be over-reading into this, but maybe that this means that this event will come back in the future. This is not something I know or I've heard. This is just purely speculation. So it might be that this is a thing that will be reoccurring, maybe once a year, I don't know. But it's something to keep in mind that this maybe will come back in the future. And if these do become a permanent thing or a yearly thing, this will kind of change the crafting meta. Because gear is now more flexible if this will be a reoccurring thing, right? And you're less committed to a certain piece of gear if you do make a mistake, right? It's less of a risk crafting something. Because right now, if you craft something, you have to think, years ahead that will this be meta in 3 years, 4 years, right? You have to keep these things in mind if you plan to be a long-term player in Rise of Kingdoms. So if this is a reoccurring event, this really removes a lot of that and adds more flexibility to equipment and makes it less commitment to craft something, which I think overall is good. I do think the event should be cheaper. I think it's very, very expensive. Especially the conversion, I think, is way too expensive. I think the Smelt and Meld is more reasonable, but still expensive. But I think the special talent conversion is overpriced. And also, like I've said now a few times, the difference here doesn't make sense, right? So if you're a player that's thinking, should you do this? Should you not do this? I'll be doing a live stream later today around near resets, probably start an hour before, where we have our KVK matchmaking that's coming up, and I'm also going to do all of these events and do a lot of crafting. So tune into my stream later today, and also if you have any questions about your own account, or whether you should dismantle or switch the crit of something, you can feel free to ask me on my stream. Or if you want to get a quicker answer, feel free to drop a comment down below. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching as always. I love you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Please drop a like on it and subscribe if you enjoyed. Take care.